Hello and welcome. Today I would like to introduce you to the Entity Designer, a code generator add-on for developers. That makes life easier in many ways, but should also be used with caution as it is really only intended for developers and can cause a lot of damage if you don't know what you're doing. Exactly. Once we have installed it, we have the option to use the Entity Designer and add an entity here. For example, we can also create our own package. We can extend packages here, but we can also create a package. Let's create a new home package now. We'll call it my package, save hello world in the file. So then we carefully select it. At that moment, the code for a package has already been written, and then we say we would like to have an entity named customers under dashboard, which is already selected to ensure accuracy and completeness in the process. And then we go ahead, we can add a text here, then we can define fields. For example, first name. Then we can add a prefix, suffix, help text, hello, world, placeholder, lorem ipsum, whatever. Validation, whether it is required or not, save. So now the whole thing is saved. And indeed we can add more fields here. We create a last name and save the whole thing as well. And then comes the magic. We say save. And tada, everything is generated. We have our entity here. And now we have a new dashboard page, customers, which was completely generated in the style of Concrete CMS version 9, fully functional. We can add entries here. This is how it looks now. You can edit nicely here. So a CRUD interface. You can edit, delete, add entries, and everything is truly state-of-the-art from whole Concrete CMS. And this is a good alternative to Express because it is based on Doctrine entities. That means this is how it looks now. If we take a look at the generated code, this was all written by the Baumhole plugin here, all these files. So everything is done by the Entity Designer. I'll click through everything so you can see what's really behind it, what you would otherwise have to write by hand. Of course, there are also front-end types for integration, list, form, detail. We have all the controllers here. So it's really amazing how much work is taken off our core hands here. This works both in the applications folder and in the packages folder, as you can see, and it all gets created. The namespaces are adjusted, so this is how it looks. And yes, exactly, here are the Doctrine entities. So everything is implemented here at core level. This is definitely, if you want nice interfaces and performance still plays a role, then this is really the solution, right? Yes, the only downside that comes to mind with this extension is that it should be used with caution, because it is ultimately still an extension that generates code and should never be used in a production environment, only locally. And you are limited with the types, right? You have a file select box, checkbox, radio buttons, and so on. So these are the types you can work with. But beyond that, there are none. If you want something custom, then you have to develop it yourself. but to build a foundation, to create something cool with as little effort as possible, we've seen now. I don't know how long the video is running, but really in a very short time you can generate a lot here, and you would normally have to write all this by hand. Yes, really cool. Just so. Yes, exactly. The whole thing is available in the Concrete CMS marketplace, and you can find the link below in the video description.